You might be familiar with the saying, history is written by the victors. And in a lot of cases, that's absolutely true. But in the way that we teach certain parts of our history, specifically Civil War history in the United States, a lot of our history is. There was a large push by a group called the Daughters of the Confederacy to change the way that history is interpreted, specifically the history surrounding the South and the American Civil War. If you grew up in the South, you might be familiar with the term the War of Northern Aggression. And a lot of Southern schools to this day, the Civil War is still taught that the United States was invading a sovereign country, which excludes a couple of things. One, the Confederacy was never its own country. It was states in rebellion. It claimed to be its own country, but it was never recognized by any other country or state officially as being independent of the United States. Two, the United States never declared war against the Confederacy as a separate country. It went in to regain control of territory that it already owned. So we can look at the way that John Brown has been presented throughout the years through that lens of John Brown is evil, John Brown is heinous, John Brown did these terrible things and took these terrible actions, which you can argue are true. He did do terrible things. Potawatomi Creek Massacre. He did intend to start a rebellion at Harper's Ferry. But through what lens do we look at those actions? Do we look at them with the moral justification of the day that everything he did to end slavery, therefore the actions he took were not wrong? Or do we look through it that the ends never justify the means, and we have to look at the picture as a whole, and what he did was wrong no matter how you try to justify it? That's the debate you have to have, especially when you talk about people like John Brown. If we look at other figures associated with slavery in the Civil War, you can look at Robert E. Lee. For a long period of time, Robert E. Lee was nearly sainted in American history because he was proposed as this fine, honorable gentleman who was only fighting to maintain his state's rights. When today, and we've always known this, but we have a very much more complete picture of, well, no, he was fighting to maintain and create a country in which white supremacy reigned and slavery was allowed to exist. He was fighting to maintain slavery. So again, it's interesting to look at figures like John Brown versus figures like Robert E. Lee, who both committed acts of arguably treason against the United States and how they get portrayed in history. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.